And here we are, Tim.
Hey Grant, how you doing today?
Oh, just as good as ever. Never better.
Oh boy, so laden with sarcasm.
No.
It's so delicious to hear.
Oh,
'Cause- Me too.
just,
Can't
yeah,
couldn't be better.
peachy.
Oh man. So, yep,
Who do we?
another week. But at least we're doing this every Wednesday, right? We've been on top of this, so
Yeah, got a little bit easier. Kind of figured some
yeah,
stuff out here.
yeah. The one little thing to keep people engaged. Who do we got with us today? Oh, we got Tasha's on there. Joe, hey Joe, hello Tasha. Hi Cheryl. Carissa's there. Nice to see you guys.
Hi,
Oh,
Mom.
real Joe, real quick. I was gonna take a picture of the TV today, but I think it was First Take I was watching. And they were interviewing Teddy Bruschi, asking about the Gronk and Brady situation. He was at home, and behind him he had a game of shelves. I mean, a shelf of games, and he had like Catan, Memoir 44, Seven Wonders, Dominion, and I'm like, man, Teddy Bruschi's a gamer. Like he had some games back there.
I'm even kind of a sports guy, and I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh, Teddy Bruschi, he's like a three-time Super Bowl champ, linebacker with the New England Patriots.
Oh,
And I
okay.
know Joe's a big because he's from, I don't know if he's, where's he from? Is he from Connecticut or Massachusetts? I'm from Connecticut. I think he's from Mass, so I'm a big New England fan too. So yeah, he's just a New England guy. So
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh, he said he saw it. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, man, that guy's a gamer. Because usually when you see people like that, like celebrities or something, they'll have like Cards Against Humanity or Life, Monopoly, but he had gamer games, which was cool. So it was kind of nice.
It's one of those, there's so many people that do enjoy this hobby. It's just not a main focus and not really something they talk about. So it's always funny to come across those people who are like, yeah, I'm a huge gamer. You're like, oh, really? Cool.
I know, isn't that weird how that's still like it's strange, right? When you like say you've known somebody for a while and you find out they're a gamer, you're like, really? You are? I never knew that. you know. So, but it's nice to find out people that they're gamers. Anthony just showed up too. Hello, Anthony. How you doing? So I hope everybody's getting some good games in there. I've been playing Duelosaur Island with my wife.
Yeah, you talked about that last week. How many games of that have you guys gotten in so far?
I think we're up to four because they have like a short, medium, long. So we did like an intro game. I think we did like two shorts, a medium, and a long. And yeah, it's okay. So
That's
she's
good.
liking it. I'm glad she's getting over into the Euro side of things. So that's good.
I know we saw it at Gamma, that Cosmic Encounters duel, the two-player version of that. I'm still really looking forward to that game.
Did you have a chance to try that?
No, I don't think there's demos or anything out of it yet. I just
Oh, okay.
super love the original game. Like Cosmic Encounters is a really fun game that I haven't gotten to play enough of, and so if they can do a really cool two-player take on that, I think that would be really good.
Oh yeah. That actually should have made the list for me. I forgot all about that.
I didn't put anything on there that was like coming out, like not already out.
Right.
Everything that's on mine is stuff that I could go play. I just haven't for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah. No, the same thing. I didn't put like the Castles of Tuscany on there. That's supposed to be coming out. So yeah, just stuff that's already out. But I hope everybody out there has been doing well and playing games and staying healthy and happy. So
Let's hit this little segue button. Let's check in. Is anybody in chat? What have you guys been up to? Little what's going on with everybody else?
all right.
He said he's been playing a bunch of Steam games. RimWorld is basically a computer game, so that's what Mikey's been up to. Joe said that him and Laura played Mezzo yesterday. Have you played that one yet?
I have not.
I think I've
Is
heard of
that
it.
does that have like a dinosaur theme or something, or what was that? What was that about?
I honestly do not know.
Yeah. No, I have heard about that game though.
Taking a quick peek at the So 2009 or 2019. Yeah,
Yeah,
saw
so,
it. Cool little like a bunch of miniatures. I know Joe and Laura both like the miniature game. I think she does a lot of painting.
yes, she does, and she's fantastic at it too. Yeah, yeah. Joe's got a lot of his games tricked out. Those nice, good miniatures. It's good to have a painter in the family, right? That's what I should be doing more of.
I did. I brought back some of those miniatures again from Gamma, and I had it in mind that I was going to paint a bunch of them, and I just haven't. There's a lot of things I could be doing with all this free time that I am just not.
Yeah, no, I've been doing some major house stuff finally. Because both me and my wife work so much, or well, she still works a lot. I used to work, but so now that I'm not working, I've got time to do a lot of stuff around the house.
I was saying my roommate Alex saw that I had my old electronic piano. I had bought a keyboard a number of years ago to try to pick up playing the piano, and I just never put the time into it. But he's been going hard on that. He'll sit there and play like 4 to 6 hours a day now.
Oh, really?
We had to sequester him out to the garage so he would stop keeping us awake. Cause we, like, all three of us are on just completely different schedules, and so he's out in the garage with our piano currently.
Oh, okay.
Now's a good time to pick up a hobby. If you want to learn
There
something,
you go. Absolutely. I see Jeremiah. Yep, I see Jeremiah joined us. Welcome, Jeremiah. Thank you for coming to the stream, watching us. Hope you and your loved ones are doing well, friends and family. And area control game is what Mezzo is. I like area control. Mm-hmm. Area control is nice. So let me ask you, Grant, if somebody comes in and they say, how we ask them, well, what games do you like to play? And they say, oh, we like Risk, which is basically an area control game, right? What would you steer them towards?
Depends on how much more complicated they want to go from Risk. Like, so many people ask for Risk, I'm just like, yeah, Risk is over here, just go play Risk. Because it's not, like, the type, like, they're not looking for anything heavier. It depends if they want more of that, like, the dudes on the map, the combat side of it, or if they're looking for more, like, the strategic area control side of it. Because area control can apply to a lot of things that aren't necessarily dudes on a map fighting, which is what Risk is.
True.
So, yeah, if they're looking for that, the dudes on the map fighting, Blood Rage is still hugely popular and on the easier side of those more complicated war games. And I still greatly prefer Innis, is the area control one that I like the most for dudes on the map. I'm trying to think of some other area control games that aren't the war game fighting, and none are coming to mind off the top of my head. But
well, the one that I teach, that I go to when people say Risk, is T-Call. Because T-Call is an area control game in essence, and there's no really combat, but it is strategic, and it's just got a nice mechanism where you have, and I'm sure you've played these type of games before. Have you played Tikal, by the way?
Yeah, you showed me with the little like camps, and then the volcanoes show up and some other stuff. You're like exploring the jungle, right?
Yep, and you like and you get the 10 actions per turn, and then Chris says Shogun is like Risk. I haven't played Shogun.
Shogun's really good. Shogun's really good. So the Shogun, I'm going to assume he's referring to the one that uses the dice tower and cubes for combat. And so what happens with that is, like, I drop in 6 of my cubes and you drop in 3 of your cubes. Whatever falls out the bottom is your actual war strength. And there's a bunch of little shelves inside the dice tower. Not everything you put in comes out. And so all 3 of yours might fall out and only 2 of mine, and you will still win against my 6 people. But the ones of mine that didn't fall out, I mean, they're still in there. So if I have a future combat and I only drop 1 or 2 cubes in, I might dislodge more and end up with even more strength than I put in. And then it's like card driven. I think there's 8 actions, and you kind of lock in the order of which actions you want to do, but you don't know the order in which the actions are going to happen in any given season. It's kind of like some hidden information type stuff. So you say, well, I want to move here and then attack this, but if it might come out the other way, the attack might happen first. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff with that one.
Oh, okay. I'll have to. Yeah, that's a game I haven't played. I'll have to pick that up.
Very good, very good. It's set rounds. I think you only play 4 seasons. There's like 3 seasons. You got to feed your people with some rice, and yeah. So like Risk, when it's kind of open ended, can take a very long time. You can just get into some real big stalemates. So things like Blood Rage, Shogun that have those set round timers definitely puts a much better. You're a lot more invested on like not just turtling down and sitting there,
Yeah.
and just being more active with what the game is asking you to do, kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Steve mentioned Kemet. I have tried Kemet once,
Same.
and I was a little lukewarm on it, so I don't know whether it was the group, the teacher, I don't even remember. But I'm willing to give it a try again. But
Now, Kemet has a second edition coming out that's supposed to streamline a lot of stuff.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that got hyped within the last 6 months. 'Cause I know I talked to Adam about it. Adam was the one that showed me Kemet originally, and he likes a lot of the dudes on the map stuff. So that reprint is looking good. I'd wait for second edition before trying it again.
Okay. Yeah, but I definitely like to give that a try.
Cyclades was another one that gets mentioned a lot. I think Sam really liked that. I want to say from Dice Tower, with
Okay.
the really big monsters. That was my least favorite of the Mago line of war games that they have, which is like Kemet, Cyclades, Innis, all from the same
Okay.
publisher. Different designers, obviously, but
Oh, all right. All right. You haven't tried any of those. So in Cloudspire, they're talking about Cloudspire. Have you tried that one?
no, that was relatively new. Cloudspire is supposed to be a take on the MOBA genre of video games, which is multiplayer online battle arena is what MOBA stands for. It's basically where you have like a team of people fighting against a different team on the other side, and there's usually like some towers and lanes that you go down. You kind of have to fight your way through. Their minions that come along the map, and you can fight the other people. So Cloudspire was supposed to be inspired by that genre of video games, but I don't know how it plays out exactly.
Yeah, and that was made by the Chip Theory people, Adam. And yeah, almost had him at Dice Tower. I mean, he was at Dice Tower West this year. Him and the people from his company, and almost had him up in the for a designer panel, but he's locked in for next year, so we'll have him there.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that'll be good. So what else has everybody been playing out there? Any good stuff? Different stuff? Stuff you may have opened up finally in shrink wrap?
Like Tasha mentioned, she's mostly just playing digital stuff. I've definitely been seeing, so we use Discord, if anybody that doesn't know, and you can kind of see what games people are playing when you look at the Discord channel. So I see a lot of people sitting in tabletop simulators, stuff like that a lot. So it's good to see people are using that.
Yeah, you know, I've been on Board Game Arena a lot. However, I must say I've been playing one game, Hearts, because Hearts is just it's a card game, and it's sort of soulless in a sense. You know what I mean? It's just, trick-taking cards or whatever. But I did play Russian Railroads, and the interface was marvelous. It was really, really good.
That's nice, because that's a pretty heavy Euro.
It is.
So you definitely need a nice interface to play that.
You do, and it's much better because it's one of those kind of interfaces. I mean, it's normal to you people, right, who do video games and stuff. But to me, as opposed to the tabletop simulator, it actually does everything for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's really good. And so I was talking to Marcus about it, and I think we're going to give it a try, but we're going to talk over Discord, and that might make it feel a little bit better if you're actually talking to somebody. You're joking around, blah blah blah, and then playing the pieces, moving the pieces on the internet. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really, so the ones that have those interfaces for you, you probably will do a lot easier with compared to trying to play with Tabletop Simulator and trying to figure out how to interact with everything. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Sense.
Like Joe, he was asking, he needs a Discord tutorial. Well, let me tell you something, Joe. That was me. And it's easy. Just go in there and let Grant drag you around.
and yeah, Joe, you can send me a text anytime you want to get on there, get it all figured out. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Just get a hold of me. And the same goes for anybody. I put my email up at the end of the shows. If anybody has any questions about anything related to what we're talking about, feel free to reach out to me, and I will try to help you as much as I can. Not like I have anything else to do.
Yeah, so Steve's been playing Concordia, which I absolutely love. I'm looking at it right over there in shrink wrap. 6 Nimpt. Yeah, we did on Board Game Arena. Love that. Chris has been playing Wingspan, Tiny Epic Galaxies, Champions of Midgard. That's a game I haven't played. I want to get out on the table.
That's another good. It's supposed to be one of the better worker placement games.
Champions of Midgard, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played that or Reavers, like the second one?
I haven't seen Reavers. I technically haven't played Midgar either, but I have seen Midgar a bunch and had mostly learned the rules at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Reavers I know is in that same universe, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, like Tasha says, she loves Concordia. Concordia is just one of those really, really good games. I like it a lot. I don't know if anybody's out there has tried the Concordia Venus. I believe it's the one with the teams you play against each other.
That I haven't heard
anybody
of.
can verify that.
Concordia was one of those that somebody taught me a long time ago and taught me the rules wrong, so I didn't have a good experience, but I didn't write it off. Like, I knew it was a good game. I finally got back to it maybe two and a half months ago or something. We sat and played it here at the house, and I really enjoyed it, and it was really good right up until the end, where we were playing a 3-player game, and it basically fell on one player to king make one of the other 2 players based on his decision, and I was like, that sucks. I hate when, like, it all comes down to one person's final choice, and you're like, ah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Hey, Christina just dropped in. Haven't seen or heard from her in a while. How you doing, Christina? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining the show. Hope you're doing well. I know she's probably out of a job too, right? Because she worked at a casino, so furloughed or something like that.
Yeah.
So many people here in Vegas. Everybody's connected to some kind of social. Vegas is a really socially dependent city, isn't it?
Anthony's trying to blame me for getting him hooked on Sudokus because I mentioned it on that one stream, and he went and found. He's like, "Is this the really hard one you were talking about?" I was like, "It sure is." And he went and found it.
Oh, so Christina is working. She still has her job. Well, that's good. That's good. What's it like to have a job? I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know again.
I don't know. You make me still do this, but I'm not getting paid, so I don't know what a job is.
I'm not getting paid either. Yeah. So, well, it looks like people have been having some good stuff, doing some good things. You know, still hanging in there. Hope everybody's keeping their chin up, and yeah, we'll see what's going on. Because the governor was on yesterday telling us about we're in phase 0, as he says, moving towards phase 1. So we'll get there soon, right?
Hopefully so.
Yep, hopefully so. So you want to talk about some stuff we saw around the internet?
Yep, let me switch this over that way. All right, Tim, so what are we looking at this week?
All right. So here is something I found on the internet. Again, because when you've got so much time, you just search the internet, run around, clicking stuff. This is Randy Rainbow. I don't know if anybody wants to hit the likes or whatever, if they've heard of him or know about him or anything or whatever. Anyway, he is hysterical. His videos are little music video vignettes, and I just think they're really funny. Because in these times, especially, you just need something daily to go cheer you up, make you laugh, make you smile. This is something I go to daily, pick a random video, go there and watch something, and I think it'll make you laugh. So if any of you out there have a chance, you want to just get a good chuckle, see some very clever, good stuff, go check out Randy Rainbow on YouTube.
I didn't actually get a chance to click through any of his stuff. I'll probably do that later, but it definitely looks a little more political skewed, which is probably fine, assuming he's on the right side of that.
He is. But in the beginning, it wasn't. But lately, yeah, for the past, 2 or 3 years, it has been. So even if you go back and you look at his old ones, he does like things like when he's talking to Barbara Streisand or Mel Gibson and different things. It's just he's very, very, very clever. So it's really good.
I was on his homepage, which only showed 6 videos. I just now clicked on his video section. I didn't realize that this goes back that long, that he had that many videos on here.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Oh,
a lot of them.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, if you just got some spare time, go check out a video. I think you guys will really, really enjoy. He's very funny, Very, very clever.
Very nice. The next thing up here that I have, I just saw this get blasted on one of the board game news stations. But so there's a scenario out for Catan, and this is a print and play version of Catan, and it is Catan hashtag We Stay at Home. And basically, what this scenario does is the robber is still there, but it changes the robber tiles to like the desert gets turned into a home tile, and you make one of the other tiles a home tile as well. And anytime the robber number comes up, anybody that has a city or a settlement next to that tile gets resources. So instead of the robber sitting there stealing from everybody, it now turns that into giving stuff back, which I just thought was like a fun little twist. It's a really tiny little expansion that you can play with the base game or the first two expansions. And really all you need to do is print off two little sheets, and you honestly don't even need to. You just need a way to mark some of the basic tiles for it. But
Okay.
yeah, just a nice little mini expansion for Catan that they have out.
Oh, that's really good because Catan is one of those gateway games that a lot of people play, right? So it would probably be really, really good for a lot of families in this situation because it's something they're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. So next, this was a thread I found, and what this is reviews on the reviewers who review games. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it would be a good resource for people to go check out, because the good thing about this community, right, the board game community, is everybody are friends, right? We're all in this together, helping each other. So there's no real like kind of animosity amongst all the big games. I mean, think about it. At Dice Tower West, who do we have as one of our key stars, celebrities? Rado, who's another reviewer. You know, and we're also trying to next year. We're trying to get Rodney, who does what does he do? Which one does he do?
I can't think of it.
Oh, Watch It Played. There we go. He does Watch It Played. But anyway, so this one has a big list of people's like preferences and stuff, but it just gives you an idea. For example, it tells you about the Shut Up and Sit Down game nights. Tabletop is defunct, of course. You have Man versus Meeple. You have John Gets Games. So there's just a lot of different resources to go and see people review games. And then I guess it comes down to personal taste, right?
Yep.
You lean towards some more than you lean towards others.
That's what I was going to mention, is that you'll eventually come across somebody that reviews games, and then you can tell that they have the same type of inclination towards games that you do, and then you'll find that their reviews are a lot more helpful, especially when trying to decide when to buy a game. You might watch somebody review it and be like, 10 out of 10, this game's amazing, and then you play it and you're like, oh, well, it's not my kind of game, though. So, like, finding those reviewers that really speak more to your side of board gaming is just helpful, and that's why there are so many board game reviews out there, because they are vastly different and have so many different opinions and ideas on the different board games that are out there.
Oh, absolutely. And like, Tasha says, she really likes Rado, and they all do have their distinct flavor. So it's not necessarily like you're saying about their likes and dislikes. It's also about how they present it too, right? Because the one thing about Rado, he's like, he does a move and he's like, oh, wait, let me take that back. He'll go back. He'll take his moves back and do something else. But that's kind of what happens in your head, right? When you're playing games, you're like, oh man, I wish I should have taken that back. Can I take, you know what I mean? So it's kind of good because he's really just, he doesn't give you rules. He doesn't give you the setup like a lot of reviewers do. He just like jumps in the game, starts playing, and explains it as he goes along.
Yep. And he cuts his videos down a bunch of different ways too. He'll do some like full gameplay ones where it has like the extended gameplay if you really want to see the gameplay side of it.
Yes, he does.
And then some of like his broken down, just like final thoughts. He'll have like his just like the quick little reviews after the fact, where he'll just run over that. So. Right,
and then of course Dice Tower. They are unquestionably the leader in board game media content, right, on the internet as far as reviews go. So they do tons of reviews, tons of top 10 lists. So you have a lot of content and a lot of different people who you can, like or dislike or whatever, choose who you like better at the Dice Tower. And then you got Shut Up and Sit Down, who does a very British
more humorous take as well.
More humorous.
They purposely try to do that type of stuff. They throw little skits into a lot of their videos.
Yep, they do. So, so you get a little bit of fun with that too. So it's just good to have a whole bunch of different flavors of the board game reviewers. So this is just a good resource to get some more people to go check out who you may not even know were out there.
Yep. My next one up is also just another Board Game Geek thread. And this one is exactly, we kind of talked about wanting to do something like this. And obviously, with the amount of information that's on here, you'll see how much time it takes. But this is a distance gaming guide. So they have a whole thing on doing games by video calls, which ones work, the type of different video stuff that's out there, like Zoom and how to use it. Quick party games that you can just kind of play with anybody, anywhere, like charades, 20 questions type thing. The social party games, deduction games that you can play pretty well through social distancing still. So just a big depository of different easy ways to play games, where to find them at, how to play them online.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. It's really extensive, too. And it's one of those kind of things where I'm hoping now that I don't think I need to hope. I think it's probably going to be a fact that because of this situation and more people have stayed home, that I bet you a lot of people who maybe hadn't played games in years started playing games. Mm-hmm. And those who were just playing the Monopoly, Sorry Risks or whatever, moved on to other stuff, too. So I think coming out of this whole thing, coming a year, 2 years from now, you're going to have, I think, a whole big new group of gamers as well.
I can absolutely see that. Absolutely. Like, yeah, so many people are just now getting exposed to it. They're stuck inside and they have that one friend that's like, here, let's have a game night and I'll show you how we do this. And they play something and you're like, oh, this was pretty cool. And they're like, oh, I can go do this in person. And there's so many more actual board games and I can play in real life type of thing.
Yes.
So once we're able to, absolutely, hopefully people do turn this type of situation into sticking with the hobby and getting more out of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think they definitely will. So, yeah, that's a very, very, very good resource for a lot of things you can do right now. Mm-hmm. And then next, what I found is an article. I don't know if I necessarily agree with a lot of these things, but again, it's always good to have differing opinions or just varying a diversity of opinions. And this article was the best board games to hook your friends. Now, some of the friends games they had on there, and they justified everything. So it was a very well-written article and well justified by why they did it. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of them, but just to give you guys a rundown, King Domino, Baron Park, Sagrada.
Those I all agree with. Baron Park I finally got to play at Dice Tower this year for the first time. It's been out for so long. And Chris and Wendy sat there and showed me how to play it finally.
Yeah, it's a polyomino game, with the like the Tetris type pieces. So yeah, no, people like that. That's fun. Sagrada, I don't know if I would agree with because that's a little. I have yet to play a game of Sagrada, and I literally mean this. I've maybe played 10 games, or whatever. So I haven't played hundreds. But out of those 10 games I've played, I have not one single game has not gone by without one person saying, "Oh, you know what? Wait, I cheated," because they've either have the same number by the same number, or same color by same color. Because you just forget, the little fiddliness there of that. So,
and that's true. But the counter to that is a lot of people really. It's simple, it's colorful, it looks nice. Like, for the times that I did show this off at Meepleville, most people generally enjoyed it. It's light, it's quick.
No,
it has the basic Sudoku, so if people sort of understand that concept, obviously it's not direct, but yeah, it is very easy to mess up. I will usually tell people to play on the easier boards so they have an easier time with it, because there's a little difficulty on the different windows that you can play.
Right.
And so, yeah, if it's your first time, definitely stay with the easier stuff. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm good at this, because, yeah, it's really easy to mess up and do very badly at that game.
That's true. And then Smash Up is here. Smash Up people like because it's just got you could be fighting zombies against kitty cats or, whatever, things. And Imhotep, I think is fantastic. Yep. I don't know if it's a game to turn people on, but Mysterium, I think, is a good choice.
Mysterium, if you're the one person that knows the game really, really well. If you're the guy that knows the game really well, and then you're going to be running the ghost and basically telling people how to play the game, I could see that going over well. For a brand new group of people, if you have 5 or 6 people that are none of us have ever played, give us a game that we can all play, start with a Dixit game. If you don't have that one person that knows Mysterium really well, don't start with Mysterium.
I would agree with you 100% on that, because it is, even though it is relatively basically simple in concept, it does have that one little, like a little hurdle, right? That just before it clicks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Need that little extra. Otherwise, yeah, once you're there and have that person that loves the game, it can be very thematic and fun.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And then Lanterns, I think, is a very good is a very good gateway game.
Hmm.
Very good. And last but not least, or no, not last but not least, Santorini, really good two-player game. I would highly agree with that. That's a great, easy, good, fun two-player game.
And it scales really well. I like that the base game is that pure strategy, which is a very fun game to play. But then you can throw in those character powers once you've gotten really good at the base game.
Yes.
And those vastly change, like having to learn how to adapt to some of those. Because some of those are really, not necessarily broken, but just very powerful. And just
Yes.
changes the dynamic of how you need to approach playing that game. So it scales really well with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the last one on the list, which is the only one on the list that I've never played, is Sheriff of Nottingham.
Played this a bunch, especially when it first came out. I definitely have some issues with it, and I know this is also getting a second edition printing, that they're going to change some stuff. They're going to add one of the
It is.
expansions into the base game and make some other changes. Yeah, this is your standard. It's not social deduction, but it's pure bluffing, lie to your friends type thing. My one big thing that I never liked about this game is you can play it and never lie and still win. And I don't like that. At some point in the game, you have to attempt bluffing. Like, once people just figure out, like, oh, if I just never lie, I can never be caught, and so my stuff will always go through. And that still depends on card draw, obviously, but I've seen games where somebody's just like, I'm never going to lie, don't check my bag. And anytime somebody checked his bag, he was never lying, and he just won. I'm like, that's so boring. The idea with Sheriff is really fun, and with the right groups, it's really fun.
Right. I've heard, people really like it, and it does get played quite a lot at the cafe, too, so. And then Steve asked about the difference between the comparing Obscurio to Mysterium.
So, have you played both? You
I
showed
have.
me a little bit.
Yes.
Obscurio adds in that potential traitor mechanic. So I think Obscurio is one of those, if everybody knows the game really well, that it can be really fun. Whereas Mysterium, you really only need that one, the ringleader guy, to know the game, to teach it so everybody has fun with it. Obscurio, for the traitor mechanic to actually work correctly, everybody needs to be very familiar with the game and how that lying bluffing part works to get something more out of it, is kind of how I feel on that, the verses there.
Yeah, I think Obscurio is a very good game. I really enjoyed it. I like how they have the traitor mechanic potential and all that kind of stuff. And I just really like it as a good game. However, the problem I think with Obscurio is when you try to piggyback off such a successful game like Mysterium, if it doesn't leapfrog it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if it's not different enough.
yeah, not different enough or not that much better, it kind of just gets lost. And I think that's what happened with Obscurio, is it couldn't overpower Mysterium. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't different enough. I agree with that. Like, Dixit was still the better entry-level gateway side of it, and Mysterium did what it did really well, and Obscurio wasn't that different.
Yes. Oh, and look who joined us with a different name. Carmen Vincent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she is newly married. Congratulations, Carmen and Chad. So happy for you guys.
The other game that I think is different enough from Mysterium that was similar was that Paranormal Detective that I picked up at Dice Tower. And that one has that same type of vibe of you have a ghost trying to give out clues, but you're giving out the clues in a much different way. And it's a fully competitive game. That all the clues that you give out are public information except for like one or two, and the detectives are all competing to try to find that correct answer. And if the ghost just sucks, then everybody loses, kind of thing. So I thought that was a nice way to play.
Right. So that would be very, very good. Yeah, I'd like to try that. Man, again, so many games I'd like to try that I haven't. So.
Segues, Tim. Segues.
Segues, yes.
No, it's time to move on. What is our top 5 list for this week going to be, Tim?
Our top 5 list for this week. Do we have our little floating heads or something?
It will be as soon as you say this.
Oh, okay. Our top 5 list this week is games that we want to play but haven't.
There you go. We can't jump into the top 5 without showing more of our fancy little heads.
There we go. So this is our top 5 of the week. Are we? Who's going first?
You can go first again. I'm just gonna keep making you go first.
Okay. If you force me into it, that's fine. I'll do it. My number 5, a little bit cheating, and I'll tell you why. Because I got a demo of it at Gen Con. But I've never actually played the game, and that's Pipeline. The demo I got, I was like, you know what? This is my type of game. Because those of you who've either played games with me or know the type of games I like, I'm just a real kind of dry Euro type guy. Those are the type of games I like. I love Euros. And Pipeline is just straight up my alley. I know like Czar and Teresa, Paul, all those guys, they've played it a lot. They love it. And I really want to get that to the table.
I saw it played so much from the group that you mentioned, and everything about that game makes me go like, oh no, not going anywhere near that game.
Yeah, I can see that.
My desire could not be any less. It looks so fiddly. I hate fiddly. That's another big just genre of stuff that I don't like, and that game looks so fiddly with the little pipe connectors going everywhere. I'm like, oh.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, see, Steve's right there. So, Steve, you're going to have to show it to me, teach me. We'll get together and play it because, yeah, that's one game I really want to get to the table, and it's sitting right over there on the shelf, too.
My top 5 here is going to be Nemesis. I don't know if you remember hearing about Nemesis at all, Tim?
Oh, yeah. I was always we were trying to get it on the shelves, right? Trying to get it in, and we couldn't.
Because it's been out. It's listed as a 2018 release on Board Game Geek, I believe. But yeah, people call the store about this all the time. We never had it in stock, never had a demo of it come in. Jeff and Joe Gordiano own it and had right before this all happened, had offered to get me into some games of it. So at least I know somebody in town when I do want to have a chance to finally play this game. But it's basically like a survival horror board game with the semi-cooperativeness. So you might have somebody. It didn't specifically talk about traders, but just that maybe your goals don't necessarily align with somebody else's type of thing. And so, yeah, the whole theme about it, I love good horror stuff. And so to see that translated well into a good board game.
Right. And the things I've heard about this is I've heard that this is Alien, the board game.
Yep, 100%. Which I am A-okay with.
Oh, yeah. If you like that theme, you'd like the game even better, right? So, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so moving along. So my number 4 is Agra. Now, a lot of you may not have heard of Agra. I know Billy. I'm pretty sure Billy has played this. He was going to show me this game. But again, this is just my type of game from what I've heard about it and know about it. I've heard it's a sandbox game. Now, the term sandbox is just a game where you just have tons and tons and tons and tons of options. It's just like a big – is that a normal term, like in video games and stuff? Mm-hmm. It is. Okay, so again, I'm not in that world.
There is some crossover there, yes. But yes, people should know what sandbox means.
Okay, so yeah, and I just find that so intriguing. I would love to play a board game like that. And all the reviews, well, not all the reviews, but a good vast majority of the reviews I've read say people love it. They explain it. They justify, and I'm like, yeah, I really, really, really want to get to the table because that really just seems like it's my type of game.
It's funny, there was another game that was billed as being a very sandboxy, open world type game, which was Western Legends. And we got that to the table, and I did not have fun with that at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of those of like, yeah, you can go like rustle cattle, or you can go mine gold, or you can rob a bank, or you can be a good guy or a bad guy, or you can go play poker. And I was like, all right, that sounds fun. And then we played it, and like there was 4 of us, and we all played good people. And we all chose one thing to go do, and that's what we did to farm points the whole game. And it was just like, why are we doing this? It was very silly.
Yeah, so Steve's looking to get it to the table too, so that's good. Well, Steve and I will have to have a gaming session coming out of this now.
Where are we at? My number 4. What is my number 4? Oh, my number 4 is Wavelength. I don't like. I've seen this game. It's been out for a while. I just love these type of party games. I don't even know a good way to describe Wavelength. Do you know? I could go read BGG really quick. I don't want to mess up what it is.
Isn't it where like people decide whether you're in a certain range or something? Or
yeah. So there's like you you have to hit a target thing on this. There's like a meter thing. I don't have a very good picture here to show you. But basically, you have to like hit just perfect on this meter, but you can only do that by describing a word. So if you had hot or cold, and you knew you wanted to hit way more toward the like middle of the hot side, you wouldn't want to say something that's incredibly hot. You wouldn't want to say like the sun. You would want to say a word that made people think of like kind of hot, but not that hot. And like that's, so you come up with a word that gets somebody to like warm tea. I don't think I'm sure there's specifics you couldn't say warm or something. But right, yeah, you're giving clues to try to have people guess on this meter where the answer is, and then you reveal it afterwards. And yeah, it just sounds like a ton of fun. I love these type of party style games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as a matter of fact, I could be wrong, but I think I watched the Shut Up and Sit Down guys review of this one.
Yeah, I think they have one. I know the lady gamers played it at Dice Tower.
That's right, they did. The girls' gamer shelf. I think the girls' game shelf. Yep.
And this is another one that, like, if one person owns the game, you can play this through video chat really easily, I've heard. Because you really just need the one person to have it set up type of thing and have the camera on it.
Right. Oh, okay. Really good.
So yeah.
All right. So, my number 2 game.
3.
3. Oh, yes, I did skip one. My number 3 game that I want to get to the table is wanting to get to the table, not because I really want to get it to the table, but I want to get it to the table because a lot of people play it, and I want to find out what the appeal is. That is Betrayal at House on the Hill. Now, I know a lot of you out there might be surprised that I've actually never played that game because have we gone through, 3 or 4 copies, Grant?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Cafe at least, and we don't even have 2 of them up there now. But it gets played so much. We sell a lot of copies too, and that is like it's almost like Catan in the sense that there are people out there who have Monopoly, Sorry, whatever, and then the one other game they'll have is Betrayal. You know what I mean? Like
for whatever reason, this game just hit, and what it does, it's the only game out there that does it. It has very little competition for the style of game, for everything about it. It's just very specific, and I don't think it got popular until the second edition, because first edition actually was slightly different and owned by a different company, and then it got bought out by WizKids, I believe, or one of those. Whoever currently publishes it had bought it out and did a big repush with it. But yeah, still just very good game, very fun. But I can definitely see how it's not your type of game at all. This is definitely one I don't think you're gonna have a blast with that first time you play it. You're gonna play it and be like, that was it. This is what people are excited about. Okay.
No. I'm pretty sure that I would agree with that. But it's like, again, it's my business, right? I mean, in the game, in the business of entertaining people with games, and if all of these people like this game, I need to see what they like. So yeah, I just find it very intriguing.
Absolutely worth you playing it. I'm just saying, will you end up liking it? Probably not.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, your camera got all resized on me.
It did. I all of a sudden got a bigger head.
Did it? You started talking. It just did it all on its own. We're just gonna call that good.
I am big.
All right, over here. My number 3 is Chinatown. I love negotiation in games. Like that's.
Yes, I know you do.
That's just like, because again, it's all about player interaction for me, like really digging into it, and not like the basic, again, like Catan, yeah, you have to do trades and stuff, but you can also just get to the point of you're being screwed by a dice. Like Chinatown is pure negotiation. This one has been, again, the Sit Down Shut Up guys have a great review on it, but it just hasn't been anywhere. We haven't been able to get it into retail. We haven't had a copy. I know somebody in town has it because they had been playing it in there a couple of months ago. So just one that's been on my list that always just kind of falls off, and I never got around to putting a group together for it, but it's very high up there for me for sure.
Yeah, and I would like to get that to the table too. I've heard good things about it. I think it has enough of the Euro-ish for me, even though it has the negotiations in it, that I think it would be a game that I would enjoy as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Steve asked real quick if I like Above and Below and Near and Far. So if you're talking about maybe just those 2 games, I've never played either. Or if you're talking about the genre of, say, story games like Arabian Nights, Mice and Mystics. What's the fairy tale one, Grant? Fabled
Stuff fables.
stuff. Right, stuff Fabled. I haven't played any of those games, so I really don't know. However, again, I'm being you want to say a little ignorant. I guess it would be I'm being a little ignorant. I guess I just don't think I would because I really am just a dry Euro type guy. I mean, I just know the type of games I like, the type of games I love. So I don't know if I would like Above and Below, Near and Far.
And
Yeah.
I do enjoy that story stuff, and those specifically, kind of like Tasha said, that it did fall pretty short for me. We had picked up Near and Far to kind of play the campaign style through it, but the individual gameplay was still kind of Euro-y and simple. So it wasn't great on the story, and it wasn't great on mechanics either. And I feel like I heard that Near and Far was a better game overall than Above and Below. Like Above and Below kind of showcased this is how the mechanics work, and then they went and made a better game with Near and Far. So I know they are different to a degree, but I've played other of those story type games. I think I've gotten more enjoyment out of his specifically.
Right, right. Steve said he's starting to think I don't play games.
Steve goes from loving you to wanting to murder you. So
I
um,
no. See, the
that'll work,
problem is,
Steve.
Steve. Number one, because I just worked so much that I didn't have a chance to play a lot of games. That was the number one thing. And number two, I will admit it. I'm very very narrow as far as what I like. I mean, I know the type of games I like. I know the games I want to play, and those are the kind I stick with. I kind of really don't go out of that lane. I stay in my lane. That's it. So I probably should get out off of it a little bit more. So let me see. Where are we at? Number two? No, you got to go. Oh, you did go.
I did. We're on your number two.
I am in my number two. So my number two is, I don't know if a lot of people of you heard about this, but I hope some of you have heard about it, so you can comment it on and you can teach me and we can play. But it's Pax Porfiriana. Now, I haven't played any of the PAX games. There's quite a few of them
A
out there.
bunch.
And yeah, a bunch of them. But Pax Porfiriana, I've heard such really good things about it. And a good friend of mine just said I would love it. They've compared it to Innovation in the sense that it's kind of really random, but it's pretty heavy and pretty deep, and it's got some little take. I don't. It just everything about that game sounds like something I'd love. So I hope somebody out there has played it, knows it, and would love to teach me.
I don't know if it was that one specifically. Somebody had played one of the PAX games in the cafe not too long ago because there's so many cards. Yeah, that's a whole series of games that I've heard of. Don't know anything about them.
Yeah. So yep, you know about just as much as I do.
My number two over here, this one's going to be a little bit of a dagger in Tim's heart. But this is a game called The King's Dilemma. The King's Dilemma legacy style game. Again, some negotiation. You're basically playing different kingdoms, vying for who's in control, and how the games play out will affect future games. And so you play through this whole campaign, and everybody's experience is going to be pretty vastly different. I had wanted to get this in before all this had started, and then we just didn't. And then I also would rather play it with 4 people than just 3. So I'm still been kind of pushing it off, even though I've had the chance to get this earlier. But once I have the right game group for it, I absolutely want to sit down and play all the way through it. I love that legacy style.
Yeah, yeah. That again has the intrigue of. Again, I haven't played the game, so I'm not really giving a spoiler, but I'm just going to tell you, I guess, about the potential thing. But you have some pretty moral dilemmas and decisions to make, right? In the game, I've heard.
Mm-hmm. And then and then what decision you make is like, oh well, we starved off all our people to save this food, but so then the next game, if you do something with food, then you have a bonus to it, but then also your people are upset, stuff like that.
Right. Right. Or
and you
let
have to,
people die, or yeah. So
and everybody has to kind of vote on these decisions, but it's like one person's in charge of like throwing the decision up, and somebody might have the deciding vote.
Yeah. So no, I would like to play that one too. That does sound so good.
Joe says he's down for it anytime. Joe, is this a game that you actually own and just haven't gotten around to? I know your shelf is kind of full of those type of games.
bet you Joe's shelves look like a store as well.
Oh.
He's probably got so many games and shrink wrap sitting on his shelves. I remember when Joe first came in too. I think it was Adam and we taught him Catan or something, and then like the next week we played like Castles of Burgundy or something. So yeah, and he just took off like a lot of people do. We all did. I did the same thing, right? You come in, you're like, what is this? And you're just like gone. Just buy everything, right?
Awesome. And yeah, Joe's saying yes, he does have it. So there you go. Yeah, when this is all done, Joe, I would absolutely love to set that up. It is number 2 on my list of games I actually want to play.
Nice. The number 1 game on my list is, I've been wanting to play this ever since it came out. I know Billy has played this a lot, and when it first came out, he played it a lot at home with a couple of his friends. It is Food Chain Magnate.
Surprisingly, now, I have a couple of plays of this game in.
Yes, and you know, well, before I go into my whole thing, Grant, did you like it?
It's not. It's not a yes or no answer. Yeah. It's a game.
It's a game. Oh, why did I even ask?
I know.
Grant?
That was a bad idea.
Okay, so again, it is a very, I guess, dry Euro or a typical Euro. I heard it's very punishing. I've heard it's one of those type of games that if you get behind in the very beginning, you can verify this or not, Grant, you'll never catch up.
Yeah. And that's the newest expansion that came out. Obviously, you're running food restaurants. The newest expansion is called the Ketchup Mechanic, spelled like the condiment ketchup, not actual like catching up. I'm hoping that they added a way to catch up in the game with that expansion, because I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, that's one of the first big things you'll notice is that it is just so punishing. There's milestones that, like, when you do a thing, you unlock a bonus, but only the first person that does it. Now, if we both do it in the same round, we'll both get that bonus. And then there's different ways to go about playing, whether you're kind of playing like a short game, so you just want like a burst of immediate money, or kind of a longer game where you don't make a lot initially, but you're setting yourself up for these long-term kind of plans. And there's mechanics in place for how those things play out, but yeah, if you mess up your first couple of turns and the game still takes 2 or 3 hours, it doesn't feel great when that type of stuff happens. But if you play it with the right group and really get into it, there definitely is a very fun game there. I won't say that I had a bad time with it when I did play it.
Okay, but let me ask you something, because you were easy to say you probably don't think I would like Betrayal. Do you think I would like Food Chain?
Ooh, and that one's a lot harder. I wouldn't say it's a hard yes, but I also wouldn't say it's a hard no. Like that it falls. You could go either way with it. I feel like. I think you might either really like it or might really dislike it.
Okay, because I just think it's my type of game, so I really want to at least try it. And
it's not that bad. Again, it's a kind of long game, and the harder part here, I would say, is learning the strategies. Learning the mechanics of the game are really easy. Learning the strategies of like the right order to do things in, that's where you get into it. And since it's such a long game, it's hard to get the repeated playthroughs enough to start getting into that strategy. And that's where my hesitation to not want to play it more comes from. But if you had the time and you really did spend getting into it, then I think there's a really good game there.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Really want to get it to the table.
And over here, my number 1. This is probably going to be something that I don't think anybody's heard of. Tim, had you heard of this when you saw the game listed on there?
I did not.
So I'm going to throw up a graphic. This graphic's just a big pile of stuff. This is a game called The Wilson Wolf Affair. And I came across it. It had a Kickstarter a while ago. The Kickstarter's done. I don't even know how I would get a copy of this game. But if you look at everything in this game, I'm just going to blow this picture up. It's really big for a second. It's like a 1920 or 1930 style cartoon. Wilson Wolf is like this pretend old cartoon, and there's a whole company in charge of this cartoon back in the 1920s and 30s. And what it actually is a big like mystery in a box. It's almost one of those escape room in a box type things, but it doesn't tell you that. You just have to start like looking through and finding clues and being like, oh, this references a number and this thing over here needs a number, and you just kind of have to find out what goes together. And there's like a jigsaw puzzle you put together, and just so much stuff that you can see in that picture, and finding out how it actually works sounds amazing to me. I love the Unlocked, the exit style games. I think this is something, Tim, that you actually would really enjoy as well. Game Night has some playthrough of it that I turned on just to see them doing it. And they had, again, 4 or 5 people all playing with different parts and looking at different things. And I would love just to, especially, like, I wish I had it now on lockdown, because I would just sit there for hours. Like, when I play with the unlocks, I never want to hit the hint button. I don't care how long it takes. I love that aha moment of figuring something out. And so this game where I can just sit there and have to figure out a thing is so intriguing to me. I would love to be able to play with this.
Yes, and when you said Game Night, that's where it clicked for me. I did watch a little bit of them play that, and so I am a little bit familiar with that now. So you said it was a kick, so it's not available anymore?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it listed on any retailer stuff. I think it was just that Kickstarter run, and I don't know if they did it, because you see how much stuff was in there.
Is it a one-time playthrough game as well?
I don't know if stuff gets destroyed or not. It wouldn't surprise me if there is stuff where you have to like draw on or figure that type of stuff out, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, that would be really good to play.
So, yeah, there's my Grail game. Whether I ever get an untouched copy, yet to be seen, but the idea of that game is fantastic.
Yeah, it does sound good. Well, those are our top 5, and I do, if you don't mind, Grant, have an honorable mention. Now, I just had to throw this up there because this is in the same vein as Betrayal at House on the Hill. A lot of you out there are probably going to be shocked that I've never played this game, so here's another one for you, Steve, to make fun of me about. That is Dungeons and Dragons. I have never played Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I don't even know if that would technically be considered a game, per se.
It's a tabletop game.
Yeah, I guess so. So
you don't even need to play it. Like, that's the thing with D&D. You can play it however you want to. You don't need to play it as a miniatures game. You don't need to use like a map and play with the little hex grid that people do. A lot of people like that, but you can totally just play it theater of the mind type thing. If you just had people sitting around a table, you could play D&D.
Right. So, real quick, I just want to say, hey, Jen. Jen is here. I don't know if she's been with us before, but it's good to see her. Virtually, sort of. It's good that she's here. Hello, Jen. But yes, now again, it's the same feeling. I don't know if I would like it. I don't know if I would enjoy it. I do know that, again, it's so popular. So many people love it. So many people not love it. It is just like so like part of people's lives. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like they're like all into it. I need to find out why. Now, I really do.
Have you done any role playing at all in any fashion?
So, and Joe's on here because I did 1 or 2 sessions with him of Time Stories. I don't necessarily know if that's considered an RPG. I know it's RPG-ish. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I take that back. Yes, it was at Gen Con. It was about, I've done it once. I've done one RPG. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. The designer of a Baker Street, a Sherlock Holmes-themed RPG, Stephen and I went and had a session with him, and it was about 3 other people. So, about 5 or 6 of us at a table, and he, went through about a 2-hour session. So I did do one session of that. And the thing that I didn't understand, or that kind of made me mad, is there was a scene where I went into a roof or a corner or something to talk to a guy, and we were having a conversation, and then somebody else at the table said, no, you shouldn't do that or something. And I'm like thinking, well, wait a second. You shouldn't be hearing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to really get into it and kind of be realistic, right?
If people want to, that's a more fun way to do it for sure. Especially when you play with new people, you kind of don't do that so that you can tell people what their options are and things like that. But yeah, basically whoever's running your game, your game master, your dungeon master, your DM, GM, the better one of those you have, the exponentially more fun you will have with role playing. Like, I could show you how to role play. I could be like, here's the rules, and you do this. What do you do? Are you going to have fun with me? No. But if you get that guy, that storyteller, somebody that really knows both the game system that you're playing and has the story elements to it, which when you watch people like the Critical Role, when you have a Matt Mercer running the game for you, and very few people are on that level, but just people that really have a passion for it will make the game so much better for you. Like that's where a lot of the funness comes from, is actually getting to role play out your interactions. You go and have a conversation, and you have to come back and you have to be the one to describe to other people, like, well, what does your character say back to these? Now that you know this thing, and not everybody at the table just knows what you know. That's where the true funness part comes, more so than just rolling dice and running around type stuff.
Right. So I guess you're right. I guess it would be good to have a really, really, really good dungeon master to do it as well, especially for my first experience, right?
Absolutely.
For my first, I want to make sure it's memorable. So, yeah. And like Mike just joined us too. Welcome, Mike. He's saying that he's excited to bring his first reveal, his first mini. I hope it's very nicely painted. He got it all painted and everything, so that'd be kind of cool.
Very nice. I had started to do that for our D&D Thursday night guys. Anytime somebody came in and was buying miniatures, I was like, hey, I'll paint that for you for a small fee type of thing, just to get more people to see what painted miniatures looked like and be like, yeah, you guys can pick up your own paints, do this type of thing. That's just a really fun hobby to do. Very relaxing.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good kind of social distancing hobby now too, right? Yeah. We could do that at Meepleville, because we could just have people like all 6 feet apart painting and talking, because that's what you do when you paint. You don't need to be right next to each other. So
we go. Everybody has all their own little stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a good social distancing exercise we could do and get started. So that's good. Well, that was our top 5 for the week. So let us know what you think. And if somebody else has got an interesting top 5 that you would like for us to maybe do, let us know that as well, because we're always looking for new ideas.
Copied. Yep. Are you ready to move on, Tim?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
And we're back. We're moving on to Meeple Talks here. Again, if anybody would like to come chat with us on Discord really quick, I know Joe said he had issues with Discord. We'll come figure them out together. I'm putting the Discord link in the chat. There's also one visible on the screen. Either one works. We have a large number of people that are in our Discord at this point. I think we're at 55 people are in the Meepleville Discord in total.
Nice. That's very good.
So yeah, and anybody that just wants to use our Discord for, again, finding games, hanging out, talking with people, feel free. But right now, if anybody would like to join us, have anything to say, I know Steve's been here a couple of times. Let's get Steve in here. He's been chatting with us all day. I know his stuff works.
Yeah, and did you give the link up there on the thing? You did?
Yep.
All right, Joe, just go ahead and click it, Joe, and we'll get you in here after we talk to Steve.
Let's get Steve in here. All right, Steve, you're in here if you want to now mute the stream. And hopefully you can hear both of us.
Maybe he can't.
I know he had trouble with his mic last week, so we'll give him a second there. There you are, Steve. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. I hear you, Steve. Do you not hear me?
And it's not. I don't mean this to. Well, I guess I do mean it to be funny. I love when other people have trouble on the internet. It makes me feel so good because I'm just so horrible.
Do you hear us now, Steve?
Let me see if I've got you on mute or something. No, you're not on mute.
Could I hear you? Oh, you know what? This might be an issue on my end.
I don't know, Grant, man.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
I can hear Tim, though.
Oh, he does? Okay.
I know what the problem is.
I can hear you guys.
I
can hear Tim.
I bet you can hear me now.
There you are. Yeah,
my bad, Steve. I got too many microphones that when I use this for personal time, I'll run it through my headset. But for this one, I have my big desktop microphone. So there we go. What's up, Steve?
So how you doing, Steve? How's Jen?
I'm doing good, and Jen is listening in here. She's got the other side of my earbud, so she's here with me.
Oh, very good. Well, hello, Jen.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jen.
Are you guys locked down up in Indianapolis?
Yeah, we're doing good over here. The weather was actually really beautiful today, so we got out and I got out a little bit. I had the day off. Most
Oh,
of the day,
nice.
so
Very
I got
nice.
to enjoy the weather.
I told my mother that I went for a walk, and she's like, Why are you walking? Where are you going to?" I'm like, "Getting exercise, like a normal human being."
Yeah.
She was so upset that I was outside.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are scared to do anything anymore because they don't. I think part of it is that they don't want to get around other people, but I think also part of it is they're scared of like the social stigma of like going anywhere or being anywhere or doing anything. Like they don't want to be like at Walmart to pick up like a loaf of bread and some cheese when that's not a necessary trip or an essential trip. They could wait like a week and go and get like all their groceries. So they're like
Yep.
they're really like dug in deep on this like social distancing, like only essential trips kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. People are. You're right, but I mean, you got to get out, right? You got to,
Yep.
man.
For anybody that isn't, just go walk around your block. That's perfectly okay to do. That's not part of the lockdown. Just
Right.
taking a walk around the street, not gonna hurt anything. Perfectly fine. Go get that exercise. You don't want to just be stuck at home this whole time. Both for your mental health, your physical health, all of that. Go do a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife and I have been doing that every day. We've been going for a walk around the neighborhood. We got such a nice neighborhood to walk around too, so it's really, really good. So, Steve, we got a lot of games we got to get together to play, huh?
Absolutely, Tim. I've got a long list. I've got it sitting right in front of me. We're gonna hit like 10 games next time I see you.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure there's one game that I haven't played that I've been dying to play that you probably love. So we'll have to add that to the list too. But I'm blanking on the name of it.
What kind of game is it?
Yeah, can you describe it?
It's Western something.
Western Legends, that one that I mentioned
Not
earlier.
Western,
Not
not
Western.
Legends.
Great
The
Western,
Great
Great
Western
Western
Empires? Oh, Great Western Trail.
Great Western Trail.
Yes. I've only played that twice. But that's a, who is it? I want to, not Kiesling. Is it? No, who is that? Pfister, Alexander Pfister. There we go. Yes, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's so yeah, we'll play that one too.
His games
Again,
are-
that's
What was his newest game that came out this past year?
not Blackout.
No, the one after Blackout.
Oh, I can't think.
Maracaibo.
Maracaibo.
Oh,
Yep, there we go.
Maracaibo.
Yep.
Oh, you did that one? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one that I've been dying to play. I haven't.
That one I have played.
either.
That one we enjoyed. There was only one thing I didn't like about that game.
Grant
Just
Music
one
If
thing.
there's only one
doesn't
thing,
like.
it's probably a pretty good game.
Always.
There's got to be something. There's no perfect game. There's no such thing.
Can't
That's
help yourself.
true.
You always got to be the downer.
I know. Yeah, like Grant said, you're right. There's no perfect game, Grant. but
I'm the voice of reason.
You always seem to be
actually
the person
started-
to find it.
He
Absolutely.
actually started to say, I liked that game, then stopped himself so he could talk about the thing that he didn't like about it.
I know, right?
I like being upfront about stuff. I like making sure we know where I stand.
Yeah. No, but that's good. Again, it's good because when Grant does say things about it, then you stop for a second. You're like, I would have never thought about that. Where did he come up with it?
Every board game designer ever would make $1 million more if they had me as a playtester. I'm just going to say that right now. People,
There
I'm
probably
right here.
wouldn't
Just
ever
let me
be
play
a
your game. I'll tell you what's wrong with
developed
it.
and like published if Grant was a playtester though, because he'd have like criticisms on every single edition of the game.
They'd get out there eventually. Steve, do you want to play more games or better games? Huh? I think you want to play better games.
Quality, quantity, I don't know.
I do like the game, Anthony. Anthony's trying to push this whole I don't like the game. I liked Maracaibo. There was one single mechanic thing that was a little wonky.
Yeah. Grant, how many games would you say that you really like? Just so we have an idea on how many games we would expect to come out every a year.
Not many. Pretty
Exactly, yeah. So we're looking at like 1 game a year, 2 games a year max. that come
Quality
out.
games,
We
though,
need
Steve.
more than that.
quality
here's-
games.
But here's the truth, and I think Grant would agree with this. Grant is more on the having fun and who he's with games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's what you would rather be doing than like and you might be like this too, Steve and Jen, right? I mean, I'm happy sitting at a table and I enjoy myself with 4 really good people playing a heavy game and like we never talked to each other for like 6 hours.
And have them be complete strangers. Yeah, I would be miserable.
that's fun. I mean, see, I enjoy that, right? Because that's those Euro type games. But yeah, you wouldn't like that.
You heard it here first. Tim likes cardboard. Grant likes people. that's I agree with that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the person, I might side with Grant or Tim.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
I'm able to read your audience.
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah, you don't know. You just never know.
I mean, and that's absolutely true. That whole social aspect of gaming is both amazing. That's why I love gaming, but can really drive different what you're into, what you're not into, sort of thing.
That is true, but again, you're right, Grant. It is great to have fun and play with people. But the reason I like those Euros where people are sitting around like quiet and thinking, because it makes me feel good to have people at the table who are just as into this game as I am. You know what I mean? Like putting all their focus and their attention in it. That excites me.
Yeah. So what I think I like most about games, it specifically like that I think is halfway between you guys, is sometimes I'll just take a step back if I'm like playing a game and just like look at all the fun everybody else is having and just kind of be in the moment. And that I think is just fun. Just like having people around you that you really like to be around and play a game. Not
Absolutely.
necessarily wanting to play. I think some of that is just is the big draw for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like what I was saying. It's just good to know that people are just into it like you are, And that's another reason why I think conventions, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, Steve, conventions and even Meepleville, why it has such an allure and such an attraction, because people just like being in a place with like-minded people, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, and you have good food too, so that's always let's be honest.
Oh, speaking of that, man, I haven't had one of Trung's, what do you call it, chicken sandwiches in a while. That would be good right about now. I don't know if you guys ever had one of those, have you?
I don't think so.
Think so.
Yeah, that was definitely after you guys.
That's right, because when, what was it, McDonald's and Wendy's or something like that, or Popeyes had that chicken sandwich war, we jumped into it,
yeah.
and Trung made
guys jumped into
it. We did. And Trung made a fantastic chicken sandwich, yeah.
Good. I think the biggest thing for me is when I find a game that I really, really love, I enjoy sharing it with other people. Steve has a bunch of coworkers that are not, heavy, deep gamers, but enough that they enjoy coming over when we have a get together. And, I just love introducing them to games to kind of help push them further down the rabbit hole. So, I know I've talked about Wingspan a lot before in the chat, but I don't know what it is about that game, but even when I'm trying to be competitive and I want to win, even if I don't, I still really enjoy it because,
it's a nice puzzle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
And, what birds do I pull out? What birds haven't I seen before? Oh my gosh, we've played this, 20 times previously, but I've never seen this bird come out, or I've never used this bird power. So I'm just a sucker for Wingspan. So.
Oh yeah, it is good. Very good.
And any game with that type of replayability is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's also good, like you said, Jen, to introduce people too, right? To try to, because everybody seems to love that when they first learn it.
And I'm happy to say that Joe taught us that
did he?
the first time when we were at
the inaugural year of Dice Tower West.
So 2018. No, 19.
No, 19 would have been
18.
19 was right.
19 was right, yep.
19 was right? Okay.
Yep.
Getting my years mixed up. But so that was fun. That was actually our first night there. We helped you guys set up some, and then we met up with Joe, and he taught us Wingspan right off the bat. So I think maybe part of it, too, is I have such, good memories, good associations with Wingspan, too. So that probably plays into it a little bit, too.
Yeah, in Wingspan, I'm with you, Jen, because Wingspan is one of those games where it takes a lot of people I teach. I'll sit with them through the whole first, 7 actions or whatever, 8 actions your first round. And then by the second round, people are like, okay, I got this. I know what I'm
Boom,
doing.
yeah.
And it's
Yes.
yeah, it's just really nice to see that light bulb go off. You know what I mean? And they just get it.
Aw, good.
Yeah. But let me ask you something, Jen, though. You said you like sharing and teaching, and that's one of the things you enjoy. Have you ever been disappointed, like where you were so up on something to teach somebody and they were kind of like, we don't really like this, Jen?
My one girlfriend Monica is like that, but she's also very hesitant to get down the rabbit hole. And sometimes there's things, I'll be honest with you, Steven. Sometimes there's things that I see that I really want to try, and I'm like ready to sell you on it, and you're like, I don't know if that's my thing. So that's kind of what like makes me sad. Like, what did we recently kickstart? Genotype. I just recently kickstarted Genotype, and I thought it looked really interesting, and Steve was just kind of like, meh, okay, yeah, if you want to kickstart it, babe, that's fine. But it was just and every once in a while I get a good one too, that like I kickstarted Parks for him and got it for Christmas or your birthday last year?
Something like that. I don't
Something
remember.
like that. And I was nervous because I wasn't sure if he'd like it, and then he just really loved it. So I feel like I have a balance. There's enough disappointment, but there's also enough like, yes, I kicked it out of the ballpark. So
Nice.
it keeps me going.
Yes. And speaking of Parks, I would put that a real close second to Wingspan as far as a really good game to kind of show people, to get them gaming, because
Yes.
it's so good.
Especially with the bits. Like the bits are just so cool too. That would bring a lot of people to the table to just look at, and the card art is probably the best out there as far as artwork. And of course, if anybody knows me, they know I love national parks and I go on hiking trips as often as I can. That is just, the theme is just dead on for me. So it was a great idea and a great gift.
Yeah, isn't it funny how even in the gaming world you get these I don't know what the term is. I can't think of it right now. But like national parks, all of a sudden there's like 3, 4, 5 games of national parks all at the same time, right? And then down the road there's something else.
Yeah, I actually my most recent hiking trip was not this last fall, the fall before, and before Parks came in, there was another game called Trailhead,
Yeah,
and it's the almost the exact same mechanism of Parks, but in a very condensed and itty bitty tin, kind of like those network games, kind of small size games.
so you can actually take it with you when you're hiking.
So you can take it with you
nice.
hiking. And it instructs you, like one of the first rules in the game is you have to find your own player piece. So
that's cool.
I took it on my hiking trip, and we were in like Washington State near the beach, and I picked up a couple of cool little stones and rocks that had like unique coloring and binding on it and stuff like that, and I kept it with my copy to use as like player pieces.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. And they also had Trekking the National Parks. Have you guys played that one?
Yep, we own that one as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I
so
kind of hit the national parks games pretty hard for holidays for him.
Yeah, very
Steven
good.
has the national park version of Yahtzee, but he's not really excited about that one.
Oh, no.
You had mentioned Kickstarters there, Jen. Do you guys have any coming in relatively soon that you guys have been waiting on?
Oh my gosh. I'm actually so excited about the Welcome to Las Vegas. Like, I'm so geeked out about
When does that come out?
Not a Kickstarter.
Oh, it wasn't a Kickstarter?
It's not a Kickstarter, but it's supposed to be shipping anytime this month. I actually sent them an email because we're getting into the later part of the month, and I haven't had any news updates from them. But yeah, Welcome to the Las Vegas should be shipping sometime this month.
We also backed Wonderland's War.
Yeah, that'll be a while still.
Yeah, that'll be a while.
So coming in soon, I think Luna.
Okay,
the designer for that one, real famous
Isn't
guy.
it Tasty Minstrels?
No, the designer.
The designer. Sorry.
Yes. I know who you're. Man, I can't think of his name either. It's not Stefan Feld, is it?
Yes, Stefan Feld. Yeah, that's
Yes.
Feld. Luna by him. That should be coming semi soon. I've got my my Kickstarter thing up here now. Valor and Villainy.
Ooh, haven't heard of that one.
Should be coming in the next year. This coming year. Oh, D6.
Oh yeah.
Is a super cool game. Dungeons, Dudes, Dames, Danger, Dice, and Dragons.
Holy crap!
So in that game you're playing a guy or a girl playing like Dungeons and Dragons. So it's so meta. It was
nice.
Like I had to get it.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I love those games where you do the other side of the stuff that happens, like the games where you run like the RP shop for like all the people that go out to the dungeon. You're like, yeah, I'm just the guy that sells you your weapons, and you're like, okay, let's make a game out of that.
Yeah, like Bargain Quest has kind of that.
Yeah, Bargain Quest is the big one that comes to mind. There was a video game called Racketeer, which was the same concept that was super fun.
What was the one that Billy taught us where we
Oh
were...
yeah, Billy I think is in the chat. You play like a person playing a hard, like a CCG person, or
I know what game you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's one of the deck builders, Millennium Blades.
Yeah, Millennium Blade.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, it's so meta." I'm like, "What am I even doing?" I had no concept of what was really going on. So I'm pretty sure I did explain it.
Yeah, I love when they take those concepts. That meta stuff is super fun.
Yeah, how about anybody else out there watching? Has anybody else got any Kickstarters coming in?
I have 2 that should be here soon. One is my defunct Evil Dead 2 board game from like 4 years ago is finally coming from Jasco Games. Because Jasco basically bought out the rights to a failed Kickstarter and relaunched it, saying that if we get our funding this time, all the original people will also still get their copy. And they followed through, it refunded. It is shipping. I think they said it just hit from China. It just landed at their storage here, and then it will go out from there. So hopefully I see that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Well, speaking of Jasco, what about their Street Fighter Kickstarter?
Don't know anything about it. That's what I know about that. Jasco are really nice. They're local here in Vegas, so I know they do a ton of stuff. Most of the games in their line just aren't my type of games. They do a lot of IP branding. Again, like the Evil Dead is just IP branding. And that's the IP that I really like that they carry. I was never a big fighter guy. They have a Buffy line. Mega Man was some of the other games we had from them.
Oh, no, I just got it to get it for the store. And it was supposed to be delivered March 2019.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kickstarters, you just never know.
Yeah.
Well, so while we're talking, Steve is scrolling through his phone, and I guess I never realized how many games you've kickstarted. This is
Jig is up, guys.
I've seen Tim's list, and it's like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You kind
Tim's
of blew
list
your
is probably
cover.
like 2 or 3 times my list, so I'm okay.
And then every time one shows up, he's like, I gotta stop ordering these. And like the next day, he's like, I backed these 2 games. You're like, yep, she sure did.
I know the 2 that I'm kind of... What was the other one, Grant? I'm sorry.
Jen and Steve will appreciate this one. I did the all-in for Dice Throne. The full Season 1 remake, Season 2, and the co-op adventures is supposed to be coming out.
Proud of you, Grant.
I finally got a chance to play. Like, I hadn't played it when you guys were here. I finally had a chance to play it. Super loved the game. Tim hated it. See? There you go. A game I like that Tim hates. It exists.
I was getting ready to say, I bet you Tim didn't like it. Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's definitely not Tim's game.
Once I saw how nice Season 2 looked compared to the Season 1 stuff, and it was around that time that they announced the Season 1 reprint, I was like, oh, yeah, I want all that. And I literally bought it with like all the card backs. Like, I did the full everything for that too.
Yep, it's true. But like Mikey's saying there, you never know about Kickstarters, right? Even with a legitimate company like Jasco, you would think they would come through, but you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be real careful. The 2 that I'm looking forward to is Lawyer Up. It's a game about you're on the offense or whatever you call it, prosecution, defense, going against each other, and Mind Management.
I haven't heard of either of those.
That one?
Mind Management, it's the psychic espionage game. A 1 to 5 player hidden movement game of clever deduction and teamwork. This also introduces a new shift system. And again, you got to understand, a lot of the games I'm not getting just for me. I was getting them for the cafe too, because that's where they usually end up. So
I do love good hidden movement games. Like that's another mechanic I greatly enjoy.
I don't think I have any hidden movement games, or I don't know if I have any one versus many games in my collection. I know I've wanted to add Fury of Dracula.
I finally
one of the
sold
best.
my painted Fury of Dracula just because the new edition came out, but then I never picked up the new edition because I didn't ever really have people to play with.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
do like it.
we have the Visitor. That's a one. You have the alien, and
Yeah,
then
but
you have.
you're the kid. You got the alien and the
Oh, you're
kid
right.
together.
yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything in our collection either.
Yeah, I
you go.
mean, we don't have Betrayal on House on the Hill, but that turns into a one versus.
Right.
And there's a bunch of other
many,
one
but-
versus many, just not necessarily hidden movement.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was great talking to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was great chatting with you guys.
We miss you guys.
Yes, we miss you
sorry
too.
We couldn't make it this past year.
Well, hopefully we'll be having a convention next year.
Oh God.
God, I hope so.
Believe me, we need point.
I know.
Can't-
I know, and it's just I keep thinking, I'm like, man, like it's not the only one of the other things that's so unsettling about now is you just don't know, right? People don't know a month, 2 months, 6 months what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
So we just hope next March we have Dice Tower West.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Okay.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for coming every week and joining us in the show. We really love having
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys here.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
thanks,
love
guys.
it. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, anything else to talk about, Tim, to wrap up the show?
No, I don't think so. I think we had a pretty good show. It was really nice. It was nice to hear Steve and Jen on there together. Joe joined us, Mikey, Tasha, Anthony. We had a whole lot of people. Carmen, with her new last name, came in here.
I saw Joe had briefly joined the Discord, and then he said he had to leave for next week. Again,
Okay.
guys, anybody that's sitting and watching this right now, feel free to jump on Discord and just come say hi with us. We would just like to have other people to talk to. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Just trying to stay in touch with everybody can just be really helpful for everybody.
Yeah, it is. And folks, again, that's why we're doing this. We're just doing this because we want to stay connected with you, because Meepleville was a big part of both Grant's and my life. And we know it was a big part of a lot of your lives as well. And we just want to stay in contact and stay in touch with you. And we just want you to know we're still thinking about you. And we're just looking forward to the point when we can all get back together again.
Yep.
So thanks again for joining us this week, folks. We will be back next Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Have a good night, guys.